You think Common Ground is worth a buck? Consider leaving a tip at lptv.org. Lakeland Public Television presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
I'm going to throw this in a different direction just because we've got Stephen here and so Scott can sort of see this. One of the really interesting things we got going on here, or I'm really excited about in my life as a writer, is this film that we finally, neither Wolf nor Dog has wanted to be made into a film. I mean, I won't even say that people have wanted it made into a film. It has wanted to be made into a film just because of the way that it was written, with a clean, simple narrative thread, strong characters, a message and a lesson to be taught, power of landscape, because, I mean, I think as a sculptor when I write, it's just what I do. I'm trying to pare away that which isn't essential, and I think visually. So I'm always writing well, I shouldn't even say visually, in terms of the senses. So people have said, it's got to be a film, it's got to be a film. We had a really, really tough time trying to find someone who was willing to film it and who could understand it. And Stephen came along, and it was a great story. I don't even know what I was out on the res for. I was out on Pine Ridge for something, and Stephen and I both share a penchant for living low and staying in cheap motels. And we were both in this Antlers Motel in Rushville, about 20 miles south. I think you had a better deal than I do. I think you were about 20 bucks a night, maybe even better. We were trading something for them.
I was getting the room for DVDs.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that was 20 bucks a night, I think. That was high, but I was willing to go with it. And
you were getting the room for DVDs, and he was getting the room for books.
Right. Well, actually, they didn't know who I was. I never let anyone know who I am when I go somewhere. That's not that it matters who I am, but I like I said, the man behind the curtain. I don't want anyone to know who I am. I just walk around. And they figure the guy's either a stalker, a flasher, or he's out of his mind, or he's up to something, and they leave me alone. So anyway, I saw that there was. You got to understand, Rushville is what, 2 streets maybe, and I'd say most of the buildings are abandoned. There's nothing going on in this town, and so I saw that they had a showing of a film at night called Resbomb, and it was what's Resbomb? It's some guy did a film about the reservation. He filmed it on Pine Ridge. So I thought, well, I'll go see this thing. And I went in and I sat down, and they were very supportive and very appreciative in Rushville. They were probably, there must have been probably 40 people there, maybe. I don't even remember what it was. And it was a really good film, very, very good in the sense that, to my mind, it showed reservation reality. He had an eye for the res, and it wasn't an eye it didn't pity anything, and it didn't glorify or glamorize anything. And yet it was actually it was a story that you said it was originally meant to be filmed in Scotland, right? And so I just, I watched it and said, this guy, I saw him down at the motel that he was staying. I didn't know him, he was staying at the motel. And I said, well, God, I've tried to get this thing made. There've been some high-level Hollywood folks were going to do it, and the smoke is a good metaphor, because that's all they are, a lot of smoke and a lot of promises, and ultimately they're just trying to own properties. They're like they're property thieves. I want to get this and own this piece of property, and nothing ever happened. We tried about 3 or 4 false starts. I said, I'm going to give a book to this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's doing. And so I gave him a copy. I walked up to him, and he must have thought, well, God, here's another guy with a book I'm supposed to film or something. Took it. He was very nice about it, and went back to the motel. I think the next day I saw you in Big Bats, which is this absolutely. It's sort of the central place was the central place in Pine Ridge at the time, which is it's just a big convenience store with not even a gas station convenience store where you can buy a bunch of food that'll kill you in about 5 years, and people hang out there, and it's sort of the gathering place. And so I think you were in there. I don't know whether I talked to you again, but anyway, there was passing pleasantries, and I think you told me at that time that when you filmed Resbaum, if someone didn't show up, you just go into big bats, and they say, hey, you want to be in a movie? And so I thought, God, he pulled it off that way. So this might be my man, but I wasn't going to say anything. So disappeared, went home. All the other things went on in life. Must have been what, a year, 2 years later? I don't know how. What'd you do? I mean, one day decide, I think I'll read this thing, or?
Yeah, I read it sort of mostly sitting on the loo.
and if you didn't like a page and you just wanted to do it, right? And so yeah, as you call it. Did you call me, or was that when I sent out that APB saying, damn it, I'm going to be a big boy about this. I'm going to get this thing made. I'm going to say, and I sent it out to about 3 or 4 people who had shown interest over the years. And Stephen wrote back and said, yeah, let me think about this. And
And you sent me the script.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I remember your line. He said, just remember, if I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I thought, God, I haven't heard that before. I've heard all about how that your grandchildren will love you for having done this, and by the way, I want all the money for doing it, and there was no money involved in this thing. We're just going to do the damn thing. And I'd gotten to the point where I'd said, okay, I'd be happy if George Lucas and Steven Spielberg came to my door and said, let's do this film, and I'd sign on the dotted line at at that second. But if they came to me and said, we'd like to consider this in 5 years, and a guy with a camera, a couple of Indians with a camera came up and said, we're going to do it tomorrow, I'd say, all right, Spielberg and Lucas, get out of town. I want these guys that are going to do it. And Steven's pretty close. That's pretty close to his way of doing it. He can do it all sorts of different ways, but we travel together, and he's fixed the script, he's improved it, he's got the right eye. We argue a few things out, but we're going to get a good film out of this thing somehow. And it's fun. It's really exciting. We're going to get it done. I don't know how, but that's part of this trip, is you guys checking things out along the way, and it was fun, like to drive through South Dakota and be looking for places that could serve as Jumbo's garage. Jumbo being one of the characters that runs a mechanic shop in an old broken down concrete building. And we're driving through little towns saying, that would do, this would be for the motel. And it was a lot of fun. It's going to be real. It's going to be real. It's going to have real people. And if authenticity matters and sensitivity to the cultural reality matters, we're going to come up with something good. So
It's been a long drive here, 3,000 miles. Driving through the Indian country and every state along the way,
Oh, you were spear fishing, you said, right?
No,
boat fishing.
Boat fishing, yeah.
Catch anything?
Oh, I didn't. No, my buddy Amson did. He's a pro, man. Like, I've never hunted fish with a bow and arrow. I've hunted on land with the bow and arrow, but he's good.
Yeah, never hunted fish.
So it was my first time bow fishing, which was, I want to do a lot more of that, learn it more. So I'm gonna go back down there and hang out with them again. But no, it's been a crazy trip. I mean, we stopped in Arizona, and, drove through California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Kansas,
who wouldn't want to
Minnesota, passing through Indian country along the way, so, and filming and really we're just trying to find me a wife. Not
oh, well, that's it.
So I'm taking the application. Nah,
well, you
hopefully I get lucky.
You stick around in Ojibwe country, they'll find they'll be looking for you. Let me talk to me, Martin. What do you think about the film? What do you think about how it's going to be? What it should be? Whether it's a worthwhile thing to do?
I can't say what it should be. I think I could say what it shouldn't be. And that's
something.
and I think what it shouldn't be is something that just what it shouldn't be is something that portrays the people in that area inaccurately. You know, that's the most important thing, and it's sensitive to sacred things. You know, I think with what is there right now, the content that's there, I like it a lot, and I hope it. You know, I hope that the film does the book justice, and that's, you know, you want to put it in a nutshell. That's all you got to say. Have it do the book justice, and that's a.
Well, how many films ever do books justice? That's the question. You know?
That's a tough one.
You got one?
Forrest Gump as a movie
Really?
is 1,000 times
Really?
better than the book. The book is terrible. It's racist. It's
Forrest Gump. There you go.
poorly.
Really?
And that Forrest Gump is one movie you can start anywhere, and you can flip to a channel and it'll be on, and you'll watch it the whole way through, no matter where it's at. You know, that's the kind of film that Forrest Gump is, and that's what I'd like to see with Neither Wolf Nor Dog, and I think that has
Neither Wolf nor Gump. We can do it.
You know, yeah. And I think with what's there right now, I think that's a film that can do that. But it's more importantly, the way that you guys are trying to do it is not about making a film or making money off of a film. I think what's great about it is you're trying to tell a story, and that's the most important thing, is you're just trying to tell a story. And I think when you try to tell a story and do that story justice, it a lot of times if you have the tools, or you know, it's there, and it's about synchronicity, you know, getting all the tools in the right place, the right time. I think it could be great.